welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will explain how to configure the DHCP Add ARP. ARP, or Address Resolution Protocol, is a protocol in the TCP or IP protocol suite that is responsible for resolving IP address into media access control or MAC address. The DHCP Add ARP feature is a security feature that works by disconnecting the router if the client changes its IP to static. So, the client must be connected using the IP DHCP server dynamically. This configuration can also prevent IP conflict from occurring because the client changes IP statically. The following is the topology used in the DHCP Add ARP material, where the router will become the DHCP server and later I will configure the DHCP automatically and statically. And duping test on the IP gateway is 26.26.26.1.
In the end, the client with IP address automatically connect to the router,
while the client using static IP will not be connected to the router. Here are the configuration steps. First, open Winbox application. Then click Make Address for remote router if already, click Connect. And here, click New Terminal. Check the interface used for the DHCP using the command interface print. In here, it appears that Ether2 interface in use for the DHCP server. Next, I will configure the DHCP server automatically. The IP address for Ether2, type command IP address add address. In here, I use IP is 26.26.26.1/24. Use interface Ether2 as DHCP server. Next, check the IP address using the command IP address print. In here, it can be seen that the IP is 26.26.26.1/24 and network is 26.26.26.0 with interface Ether2. Next, perform configure the DHCP setup with the command IP DHCP server setup. The DHCP server interface use Ether2 or DHCP address patch is IP network to given to client. In here I use
26.26.26.0/24
or default. Next, gateway for DHCP network. In here I use default, namely 26.26.26.1. Next, address to given out is IP rank for given to client. In here I use IP rank is 26.26.26.2 until 26.26.26.254. Next, DNS server. In here I use DNS from Google, namely h.h.h.h. Lazy time. In here I use 10 minutes for borrowing to client. Next, to check the DHCP server configuration result, use command IP DHCP server print. It can be seen that here the DHCP server used the name DHCP1 with the interface that is Ether2. It can also be seen that the Add ARP session is still empty. Next, check the client computer by requesting IP DHCP. We open network connections. In here, choose change adapter option. Here, choose port interface in use, namely Ether2. Right-click and choose status and details. In here, can be seen that the IP address obtained by the client is
26.26.26.254 in using /24 and default gateway is 26.26.26.1 and DNS server is h.h.h.h.
We can close. In here, click reconnect. Next, we try to ping the IP gateway use CMD application. Press Windows plus R, type CMD, then perform the ping to gateway in use. Type the command ping 26.26.26.1. Here you can see that the result is a reply. Then the client has successfully connected to the router. Use DHCP server automatically. Back to inbox. Then I will configure DHCP at ERP. To activate the ERP feature on the DHCP server that has been created, enter the command IP DHCP server set number 0 at ERP yes. Then check it with the command IP DHCP server print. Here you can see the status of at ERP is yes, which means active. Change the ERP to reply only on the interface used as the server, namely Ether2, by using the command interface Ethernet set Ether2 and use ERP is reply only. Click reconnect. Login to inbox again. Then check configuration result of ERP reply only. Use the command interface Ethernet print. In here, that the ERP status is reply only. Reply only, that is the only connected client gets the IP address automatically, not static. To see a list of ERP table, we can use the command ip erp print. In here you can see that IP used by Ether2 is 26.26.26.254 and flex is HDC is the HCP dynamic complete. Next, do the testing static IP with open network connection. In here, right click to port interface in use, namely Ether2. Choose properties. Choose Internet Protocol version 4. Choose properties. In here, perform configure IP static. Choose use the following IP address. For IP address, I use 26.26.26.26 and subnet max name is /24 is 255 0 with default gateway is in use router, namely 26.26.26.1. If already, click OK and close.
Then right click to port interface in use.
Click status and details. In here, the DHCP enables value no, and address is 26.26.26.26 slice 24 and default gateway is 26.26.26.1. We can close. Next, ping the IP gateway use CMD application. Press Windows plus R and type CMD. Type command ping to IP gateway is 26.26.26.1. Here it can be seen that the result is RTO or request timeout, which means that the client is not connected to the router. Conclusion is that only by using dynamic router IP can client connect, and if the IP is changed to static, then the router used cannot be connected with the client. Enough of my explanation regarding the HCP at ERP, more or less sorry. See you in next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.